Thank you very much.
Eddie, how are you doing?
Here. I'm doing very well.
Yeah, very good. So tell me a little bit about Hella Cocktail.
Absolutely. So Hella Cocktail, we're a New York-based company. We are called Hella Cocktail Company. We produce a wide variety of premium cocktailing ingredients. Everything ranging from cocktail bitters that are used by the dashful to make craft drinks like an old-fashioned, to ready-to-mix mixers like a Bloody Mary mix. We have a habanero margarita mix, which is really good. And those are all come in large 750 ml bottles that you can crack and pour and mix with your own alcohol. And more recently, we just launched an exciting new sparkling ready-to-drink bitters and soda.
Yeah, and so tell me about the sparkling line. So what is it, and how does this introduce a new proposition for you guys?
We've always had the dream of taking bitters as the experience in club soda, which is something that is widely adopted. It has a major cult following amongst people who are really into herbs and nutrition, bartenders. A lot of bartenders know that if you have bitters and soda, when you've maybe imbibed a little too much the previous night, that it's very settling for the tummy and might be good for a headache. But there were some fantastic presentations on the stage upstairs earlier today about the benefits of bitterness and how bitterness has proven effects on your glycemic index, how it supports digestion. And so we've always wanted to take our bitters and put them in a ready-to-drink format that people could just grab and go with.
Yeah, and sort of that ready-to-drink is with mixer companies is starting to kind of evolve. We saw on stage at New Beverage Showdown, Proposition Cocktail Company was one that was kind of pitching a mocktail ready-to-drink.
Yeah.
Is this a mocktail? What is it? How is it different?
Well, we are really focusing on connecting with the customer who's interested in discovering more about what goes into their drinks. And so, sure, it's a non-alcoholic option. I think people are talking about low-no proof drinks. People are talking about sober curiosity. And so, the sensibilities between sobriety and imbibing are becoming less black and white. People want to have options that don't necessarily contain a lot of alcohol, that aren't going to get them drunk, but are still full flavor, have high-quality ingredients that they can really dive deeply into and taste. And so, if you kind of look at the heritage of bitter flavor notes, it extends all the way to bitter cordials, some of the more famous Amaro that you find out there, Montenegro, Campari. These bitter Italian and European liqueurs are finding their way to the United States, and we're excited to offer a sparkling beverage that kind of drinks like a Negroni, but is non-alcoholic. It might drink like a bitter spritz, but isn't going to get you drunk.
Yeah, and that is an interesting change in consumer behavior in general. Like 100%. Move away from wanting to be, indulging in alcohol so much, but still wanting that flavor experience, still wanting the social element of alcohol without the ill effects, without the the hangover the next day. Right.
Yeah,
and
definitely. So because we make so many mixer items, and because our experience and route to market is providing ingredient components for making drinks, bitters and soda is first and foremost positioned as a mixer. And so, our go-to-market strategy is dual-pronged. It includes working with spirit suppliers and craft portfolios to, earn the trust and credibility from high-end bartenders around the country, but also working with our grocery distribution relationships and brokerage to make sure that customers can find it in the middle of the store, next to other brands like, say, a Fever Tree or a Q Tonic as a mixer, but also similarly to ginger beer, it can exist in both places, in the middle of the store and in the cold, the cool cooler. Right.
And now, so you guys have been going through some transformations over the past few years.
Yeah.
You rebranded, repositioning. So what was all that about? What happened?
Well, we founded this company from a very honest place. Between the three co-founders, there's myself, Tobin Ludwig, and Jomari Pinkard. We have a collective 40 years of friendship between the three of us. And so when we started making bitters in a mason jar, it was really like a hobby, Wow. And when we had a commercial brand finally, it was something that was given to us as a gift from some friends who were going to school for marketing. And so we got some feedback, we got some notes from our audience, we did some consumer primary research in the form of digital surveys, some focus groups, and the bottom line is we didn't want to have to continuously convince people that this quality liquid that we worked so hard to make was premium. And so we wanted the on-pack to really communicate what's in the bottle. And so the rebrand really visually depicts tomatoes, horseradish, black pepper for our Bloody Mary mix. We have a wonderful Moscow Mule mix that shows like whole pieces of ginger, whole limes. So, the idea that people want to know what's going in their body, people are interested in plant-driven flavors that have somewhat of a function in their life, is just obvious when you look at the product. And so the rebrand was about kind of like taking it to the next generation, but really communicating the quality of the premium liquid that's on the inside of the bottle.
Yeah, standing on a shelf in the mixer aisle is getting tougher and tougher. There's so many brands coming in. It's a
Certainly
big, innovative category. What do you guys do in order to differentiate?
Well, like we were talking about this superior and mindful drinking occasion, there's a lot of talk about it. On the new brands showdown presentation, there's a couple brands who are jumping into the space, and we just innately know that it's where the industry is kind of headed, or at least it's fracturing off into, a big part of it is fracturing off into that direction. And so the fact that we have bitters in our product is a competitive advantage. Bitterness as a flavor profile is showing up in eating, culinary, and drinking habits across the board. And you don't see a lot of other companies out there that have a commercially scaled bitters manufacturing program like we do. And so, we produce 8 different flavors of tincture format cocktail bitters that you use by the dashful. We have the classics, aromatic and orange. We have things that are a little bit more exotic, like smoked chili and eucalyptus. And so the fact that it's just straight up called bitters and soda, I think is going to be really interesting to people because, if you look at some of the other entries that are saying I have a bitter soda, they can't honestly say that there are bitters in it.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that there's going to be some consumer hesitation maybe with that? I mean, it's definitely a new type of product. How do you educate?
Bitters is a sophisticated thing, When we did the Fancy Food Show for the very first time in 2012, I promise, other than Stirrings, who had already made an exit to Diageo, we were the only cocktail-focused brand at the show. And now you go to the show and there's just like so many. And we're not taking credit for it. It's like all ships rise with the tide, right? And so, yes, it's a sophisticated topic. It takes a lot of education. And that's why we have boots on the ground in our retail channels across the country, doing samplings, doing demos, and telling our story in person. One of our biggest retail partners is Total Wine & More, and we delivered more than 700 demos in Total Wine & More last year alone.
Yeah, well, Eddie, thank you so much. This has been fantastic, and I think it's such a great brand. It's a great brand name too.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're thrilled. Some of the places that you'll be able to find the product are going to be like Fairway. We're working with Fresh Market in Texas. And so please just keep an eye out for it, whether you see it next to the sparkling mixers or as a beverage option in the middle in the cold refrigerator.
Great. Well, I'm going to pass the mic to our next guest.
Thank
you
so much.
So much for joining us. Enjoy the
time.
rest of your show.
Thank you very much.